Hello, it's Damien here from Quantum Minds Science Tuition. I'm just going to go through some electronic configuration stuff as part of the stepping up from GCSE chemistry to A-level chemistry. And it's just one of those things that you need to be able to do to be ready for starting your A-level course. So I'm just going to go through a few things on the periodic table. It's always really important to have your periodic table handy. And there's a nice little trick I'm going to show you that will help you do these kind of things. Okay, so if you look across your periodic table here, you see you've got group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, it's always handy to know that if it was the next shell, you'd have 0 electrons in it, but the shell that you're going to fill will have 8. So I've just written 8 there. So that actually is going to tell you the number of electrons in last shell. So that's what these numbers will actually tell you. And then down here, you've got to remember that hydrogen is actually part of the first row there. So this is row 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, at GCSE, you'll have only done up to there anyway, so we can cut that off at that point there. And then also, it's a good thing to remember for when you're doing your ionic bonding and things like that, like covalent bonding, it's to know where the metals and non-metals are. So it's always a good idea just to do your little staircase, which I'm sure everybody will know about. So I'm just putting that in there, doing it all the way down, even though probably won't have to deal with any of these elements. Okay, so you could use a random number generator to just pick a number between 1 and 20 just to, surprise yourself. I'm going to choose 17 as the first one. So I don't know what 17 is yet, but I'm just going to have a look on the periodic table. And if we have a look at the proton numbers, we can see that 17 is chlorine. So 17 chlorine. So I'm going to write it down here, Cl. It's got 35.5 as its mass number and 17 as the proton number. Now, it's always a good idea to do your P, N and E numbers just as practice, protons, neutrons and electrons. This number obviously causes a bit of a problem. That's because there's 2 isotopes of chlorine. There's a 37 and a 35. So I'm just going to rub that out and we'll deal with the 37. It's probably not going to make a difference, is it? Because we only have to deal with the electrons. So our proton number is going to come from there. So that's 17. And that is also the same as the electron number. And then to get your neutron number, you just have to do 37, take away 17, which equals 20. And that gives you your neutron number. Now, looking back over here, we can see that chlorine is in that 3rd row, okay? So, what we can do is we can use that number to tell us how many shells we would need to draw for that one. So if it's in the 3rd row, we need to draw 3 shells. So 1, 2, 3, like that. And then, as we can see, it's in group 7, so it's going to have 7 in the last shell. So, we need 17 in total. So I go north, south, because the first shell can only hold 2, and then north, south, east, west, north, south, east, west, and then that is now 10 in total. So that leaves us with 7 electrons left to fill, which matches this number in this column here. So that's north, south, east, west, north, south, east, and that's it. And what you do at the end of all that is you write down the number of electrons in each shell. So 2, 8, 7, and that is your electron configuration for chlorine. Now, chlorine is a non-metal, as you can see. It's on this side of the staircase, so it would be nice to match it up with a metal. So let's have a look at a metal. Maybe sodium. So sodium is 23 there. It's in the first column, third row, okay? So let's write down what we know about sodium. Na, 23 and 11. P, N and E again. So proton number again comes from there, that's 11. The electron number is the same. And 23 take away 11 gives you the neutron number, which is 12. So again, as we can see, 1, 2, 3, row 3, group 1. So I know I'm going to be drawing 1, 2, 3 shells, and the last one is going to have 1 electron in. So again, north, south, and then next shell, north, south, east, west, north, south, east, west, and then the last one, doesn't really matter where it goes, but we're going to put it there, north. And if we add these up, we can see we've got 2, 8 and 1, and that adds up to this number here, the 11. So 2, 8 and 1. Okay, so we can also have a little think about what would happen if we were to bond these two together. So bonding these two together, we only have to deal with the outer shells. So we would have Na with its 1 electron, its outer shell, plus Cl, which has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you can probably see, what would happen is we would go from that shell to this shell, okay? And you would end up with Na. Now I've got to think about what is in this shell previous, and as we know, it's normally 8, possibly 2 sometimes, but it will have 8 in its previous shell. So I only have to draw the outer shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And because it's lost a negative charge, it still has the 11 protons, but it has lost a negative charge. And as we know, protons are positive, electrons are negative. So overall, it's got a plus charge. And the chloride now has got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's received that electron from the sodium. And now it's got a minus charge. So that tells you what you would have if they bonded. You'd have sodium chloride, and 1 electron would have moved from sodium to chlorine. And if you really want, you can think about the number of electrons in each level. So we've got 2 and 8 in that one, and this one will now have 2, 8, 8. And as we know, all elements, when they bond, they're looking for, that's right, you guessed it, a full outer shell. So that's just recapping your GCSE stuff, and that's part 1 finished. If you want to get in touch and we can talk about the next step, which is part 2, and that's going to help you with more of the A-level type stuff. Thank you for listening. If you've got any comments or questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you. Thank you.